And welcome back to the channel here, everybody. Lucas Johnson back with some more YouTube videos and some more MLB The Show 22 custom franchise here as we are into the second half of the season. Just got done with all the All-Star Game festivities, and now we're back in action here as we also will have the trade deadline in this episode. But before we do that, we have a matchup between a couple of the top teams in the league right now in the Kansas City Monarchs and the Los Angeles Dragons. Here, as you see these pitching for Kansas City right now this season has been very good. Aaron Nola has a 3.05 ERA. Dane Dunning there with a below 3 ERA or below 4 ERA. Cole Irvin, he's been increasing quite a bit this season, +3 to K hit and K per nine this year, and he has a 3.13 ERA. Last year he had a 4.5 ERA. Wasn't all that great, but this season he has been really good, and he has started 13 games this season. He has 9 quality starts, a 1.7 WAR for him, and he is going to be the pitcher on the mound in this matchup here against Los Angeles. And then you have Zach Gallen, who has been pretty up and down this season, but his stats aren't all that great. He is that number 5 guy for a reason right now. Joe Payamps, a 3.56 ERA and a 1.11 whip there, so a pretty decent season for him as his team's long reliever. Andrew Chafin, a 3.41 ERA. Tim Bastar has really struggled this season, only 25 innings for him, but a 6.75 ERA and a 1.7 for whip. So not very good numbers for him there. Will Harris, though, 3.03 ERA, 38 years old, and still putting up some great numbers here. I mean, last season for him wasn't amazing. This season has definitely been a lot better for him here. His first full season in Kansas City. And Mike Myers, an over 5 ERA, 1.3 whip. Dylan Flora has been incredible this season. +4 to K per 9 there. He's up to 79 overall now, and he's allowed 4 runs across 31.1 innings this season so far. 15 holds. Only has allowed 2 home runs, and only has walked 12 guys. So that whip right there is 0.89. Really impressive numbers for him this season. And then Claude McHugh has been great as this team's closer, has 32 saves and only 2 blown all year, 9 runs allowed this season, 2 homers allowed, 31 strikeouts, and only 9 walks. So 2.73 ERA, that whip at 1.18. So yeah, pretty good season for Claude McHugh right now, and he is one of the top save leaders in the league right now this season. Partly because he's on a really great team this year, but he's also, he's only blown 2 saves, so he's been really good in that department. Chris Taylor, leading off for this team with a 370 on base. I mean, so much better than last season for him in a lot of those categories. 3 years, 3 years left of his contract, or 2.5, technically now. Brendan Nimmo started out the season pretty poorly with getting on base, and so, the average is a lot lower than it was last year, but the on base has risen to 350. He does have a near 800 OPS now, so he's had a better second, or he's had a better last couple of months of the season. He's on a hot streak right now. Yordan Alvarez, I don't believe he made the All-Star game this year, and mainly because of just his average and his on base numbers are just not very good right now. Only batting .222 with a 324 on base, and still has a lot of power, still has 22 home runs, but only has hit 2 doubles all season long. That's really surprising to see, only 2 doubles. That's crazy there. So the slugging is way down for him this season. But Max Muncy, this has been a great signing for the Monarchs this year, and he has been a huge part of this team, was in the All-Star game, and took part in the All-Star festivities, was in the Home Run Derby as well, I believe, and 24 home runs for 59 RBIs and 944 OPS. Those are just fantastic numbers for him. And Austin Nola, 250, average 220 on base. I mean, those are not terrible numbers for a catcher. You'll take those numbers for him. His defense is very solid. And Tommy La Stella, a lot more at bats. He had only 73 last year. He's a full-time starter this season, basically. And his numbers aren't all that amazing. They're okay. As Andrew McCutcheon, these are like almost identical numbers to what he did last year. I mean, 3 points of average better. The on base is the exact same. OPS is basically the exact same, so is the slugging. So he's gonna finish with more home runs than he did last season, but less doubles there. But still, I mean, at his age, I don't know what you expected him to do. He's been doing about what you would expect. And Riley Green called him up pretty recently as just wanting to get a boost in the outfield for this team on their offense. And so we'll see what he does. So far in 17 at bats, he's been pretty good. Butler Jr., I mean, +8 to Connor versus lefties, but his offensive struggles, we've already talked about it this season with him. But yeah, they are really not. I mean, those numbers are just terrible. 281 on base percentage is pretty awful. So I don't know why he's doing so poorly this season, but man, he is really struggling right now. But then the bench looks like that for them. And then looking at this is the Dragons, and this Dragons team really good, set up for a postseason run, I would think here, and I really like this team, I like their offense a lot where it's at. Michael Brantley, those are pretty similar numbers, especially when you look at OPS from last year, but the average slightly lower, the on base slightly lower. I mean, he's still hitting really well this season. Garrett Cooper, I mean, those are good numbers for a 77 overall guy with not a ton of expectations. Looks like he should have more than, the 56 RBIs he had last year. Corey Seager has been pretty good, pretty similar to last year, although he's getting on base a lot more, but his slugging is less. 90 hits for him so far this season, 16 home runs, and 48 RBIs, a 349 on base percentage. Not really any increases. And, in terms of his game, he's kind of capped out there, I think. Jose Altuve, 765 OPS, so definitely worse than last year a little bit. But still, 14 home runs, 51 RBIs. Still not terrible numbers for him there, and his defense is still okay as well. Joey Gallo has been really good this season, just went into that home run derby and participated in it. 88 hits for him, 29 homers, so I mean, he is hitting the ball a long way, and his defense is really incredible. He's got 2.8 WAR as well this season. So, first full year in Los Angeles, I think it's going pretty well for him. Anthony Santander, though, man, really good season last year. This year, though, it's definitely not at that same level. He is going to be, free agent at the end of the year, and I don't see him coming back to this team. I don't think they're really going to need him to come back. Josh Jung has played in 81 games this season so far, and 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, 709 OPS. He's getting some good increases there, +1 and +2 increases. His defense is improving as well, but I just want to get him some more playing time. And I want to get Michael Busch some more playing time, too. I mean, a 366 on base percentage, 780 OPS. Pretty good. 55 games for him this season. So both those guys are 75 overall, 25-year-old players. And then Corey Lee, these numbers are about what he did last year a little bit. The slugging is a little lower, 7 home runs. So he might finish with more than 12 this season, but 32 RBIs. The offense is just okay for him. Still a pretty young catcher or a young player for them. And then on the bench, they have Christian Pache, who's 24 years old. Good defense for him, and he's getting some good increases there, +4 to his vision and his contact ratings. So those are going up fairly well. And then the rest of the bench there, not great, as you go down to AA or AAA, and just Wes Adams. Looking at his stats, 4 home runs, 44 RBIs. That average is absolutely insane. And they also have Colson Montgomery. I really think Wes Adams will probably see some major league action this season, which is crazy to say because he was again the last draft pick that this team had last season. So for him to be doing so well is really he's going to be like one of the biggest storylines, I think, of this season, is just how well he's been playing. Shane Bieber here, 3.12 ERA. You're not really surprised by this 15 quality starts. He has been awesome this season, and he is one of the better, just ace quality pitchers in the major leagues. And only 1.5 more years of his contract left, so definitely want to take advantage of having him on your team for sure. Mike Soroka, 3.99 ERA, not too bad for him. Madison Bumgarner, though, this signing has really, really worked out for Los Angeles. I think they got him in a trade, actually, in the offseason, but he has been unbelievable this season. And, he was okay last year at the ERA, below 4, but 2.7 ERA for him, 1.14 whip, and 92 strikeouts. I mean, those numbers are fantastic. So he is really putting together almost a career-type season for him right now. 3.68 ERA for Alec Mills, 13 quality starts. I mean, he's pitching really well. Albert Alazalai, 28 years old, and he's improving a little bit, but he's got a 3.68 ERA and a 1.23 whip, 90 strikeouts for him. So, I mean, he's not pitching that poorly. But yeah, man, the starting rotation on this team is fantastic, really, really good. Craig Stammen, I mean, as a long reliever here, 39 years old, and has only allowed 6 earned runs all season, so really good stuff. His whip is ridiculously low, below 1. Kenta Maeda, though, has really struggled this season, but that whip at 0.87 is really impressive. Oliver Perez hasn't pitched a lot, hasn't done a lot in that time. So Taylor, we have called him up, and he was a draft pick from last year for this team, and he's only 18 years old, but he started out as like a 72 overall or something like that. So he started out really good in his ratings, and he was dominating in AAA. He was pitching very well there. So I increased his potential. He now has B potential, and called him up just to give him some MLB action. So we'll see how he does at 18 years old. JT Chargois, 2.68 ERA. He's been really good for this team as a relief pitcher. And then Archie Bradley has been very good as well. 6 runs for him, allowed in 24.2 innings. Coming off of a season where he had a 1.6 whip. And then Jose Alvarez has moved into this closer role, and he's got 14 saves so far. Has only allowed 3 runs all season long. A 0.88 ERA, a 0.78 whip, only 6 walks, and 18 hits allowed all season. So he has been just one of the better relief pitchers in baseball. Made the All-Star game in the last a couple of episodes ago. But it's good to be back recording episodes for you guys. Los Angeles 60-42, and the Monarchs 61 wins for them this season. So these are 2 of the best teams in baseball right now. And I'm just excited to get back in recording here after being away and being out of the country for, 7 weeks. I was in Spain for that time, and so now I'm back here in the U.S., and I'm just excited to get back to recording videos for you guys on this YouTube channel. And Monarchs 62-41, first in that Central Division, and they have the Central Division pretty much in hand. I mean, obviously there's still a lot to go in this season here, but I mean, they're the best record in the National League. I think they have the best record in baseball right now with those 62 wins. That was a bad swing and miss right there by Michael Brantley to begin the game. So now it's Corey Seager here, and an 0-2 to him here, a little 2-hopper, and it's picked up by the bare hand by the shortstop. I believe that's a shortstop they're playing way back because of the shift. I think it was the second baseman. But either way, that's a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Irvin. And yeah, Madison Bumgarner, 92 strikeouts, only 28 walks all season. And I mean, he's reversing the clock a little bit on his performance this year. And then you look at Chris Taylor, really good on the road this season, 311 batting average on the road, but home only batting 235. So that's interesting splits right there for Chris Taylor this season so far. Again, batting 275 overall. And Los Angeles first in the NL Central right now as well, 60-42. Really good first half of this season. I think you can tell why. This team, last year I just think that they didn't have a full season with Joey Gallo, but some of the pitching for them was just a little bit. I think the pitching weren't needed to be. Some players underperformed, but this season it's been a completely different team, really, and it's been a team that has looked ready to just take over as one of the better teams in the league. And Madison Bumgarner gets a strikeout here. He's been a big part of this team's success this season, coming over in that trade in the offseason there, as that's a swing and a miss, and a bad swing right there by Goodwin Alvarez. And the count to him moves to 1-2. And that is on the corner! A cutter down at the knees for strike 3. Good 1-2-3 inning here for Mad Bum to begin the game. And he gets a couple of strikeouts in that first inning. And nothing happening for either offense so far. So Joey Gallo, there's his June and July splits. Pretty similar across both of those months. Though he had a lot more RBIs in June, it seems like there. But 1-2 pitch to him is a swing and a miss way inside with that fastball there, Corbin. Making him look a little silly on that swing. His first strikeout of the game, and now it's Anthony Santander. He's going to drive this ball into left field as Alvarez is at the wall, and it's gone! Anthony Santander with a homer. 16th of the year for Santander, and the Dragons will score first here in the second inning, and as they go up 1-0. High four-seam fastball there, and I mean, I believe it was a 2-strike count, so usually that's a good 2-strike pitch to throw, but a little bit too much on the plate. Santander got a hold of that ball, drove it 326 feet over the wall. So Michael Busch now at the plate here, and he is going to swing and miss there at that changeup down below the knees. Great pitch by Irvin, and he does recover to get a strikeout after allowing the home run by Santander, who, again, this season for him, you know, it's just not as good as last year, and, I mean, trying to be as productive as he can, probably knowing that he won't be with this team coming next, when it comes to next season. But that was a good swing right there, and now Max Muncy's at the dish, and now Max Muncy is going to swing and miss at a cutter way inside. I mean, that was a very similar pitch to the one Irvin got a strikeout on earlier in the top of that second inning, last inning there for him, but that was a bad pitch to swing at, and then Tommy Stella takes a curveball right at the knees. So Madison Bumgarner getting a few strikeouts here, a couple looking and a couple swinging. 4 Ks through 2 innings for him.
Leading off for the Dragons.
And now Josh Jung will come up to the plate here. First at bat of the game for him, as he's going to swing and miss at a cutter. A lot of bad swings so far from both of these teams so far in this game. Josh Jung 2-2 to him now. That's a line drive, and that one will fall in to the outfield and fall into right for a single. And he is on to begin this time for the third. And now it's Corey Lee. Corey Lee's going to ground that one. It's stopped by the second baseman. But they're not going to get the out. Corey Lee beats out the play. And that is going to be a base hit for nothing there. I mean, a good try right here. Second baseman Bobby Witt is the shortstop. I believe that might be Tom Estella, who plays second base for this team. But now 2-1. 0-2. That's Michael Brantley. Will struck out his first time up on a pitch way in the dirt. He swings and misses there with that pitch. So his second strikeout of the game, and now brings up Garrett Cooper, who rounded out his first time up. 2-1 here, and now he's going to take that four-seamer down the middle, and that's going to drop into left as Alvarez is up with it, but scoring is Josh Jung from first base. And up to third goes Corey Lee, as Garrett Cooper delivers with an RBI single down the line, and it is 2-0 Los Angeles. Good swing by Cooper there, and that was again a pitch that kind of went too much of the plate by Cole Irvin, as now it brings up Corey Seager. 0-for-1 on the day, and now Corey Seager's going to ground that one into right field, and that is going to score Corey Lee. First pitch of the at-bat, and Corey Seager is all over it. So it's now a 3-0 game. Houston was able to bang. He's going to swing and miss at a four-seamer there. Cole Irvin's got his 4th strikeout of the game now. So, I mean, he's getting those strikeouts. He has some swing and miss stuff so far, but he's also allowing a lot of hard contact, and this inning has not gone his way so far. Now it's Joey Gallo, and Joey Gallo is going to swing, and that one is going to land in right field as well, and is going to score another run. Joey Gallo coming through with another hit, and it's a 4-0 lead for LA. A 3-run inning here in the third as he hits that fastball. I mean, not a bad pitch, not a bad location, but good swing all the same by Gallo, and that's a strike 3 call on the next hitter, and I mean 5 strikeouts for Urban, but that was a 5 hits I believe in that inning, and 4 runs for the Dragons there 4-0. You gotta be careful because right now Madison Bumgarner's on a groove. He is absolutely dominating this lineup the first time through this batting order. Is Riley Green swings and misses. You see the pitch sequence here and changing it up on him. I mean, going cutter, sinker, then it's circle change and the sinker back to the cutter. A couple cutters to end off that at bat. A really good pitch there on 1 and 2. And now we're in the top of the 4th, and Cole Irvin is going to get a swing and miss there on a high fastball. That's some high cheese right there, and I believe that's either Josh Jung or no, that's not Josh Jung. Oh gosh, blanking on the name of that hitter that was just at the plate there. But now Josh Jung is up, and he is going to hit a ground ball over to the base. An easy out right there.
Now batting.
So Corbin has kind of recovered and has gotten a couple of outs here in this 4th inning, and it's so far going well for him. As Puerto will come back up to the plate, 1 and working on again. First pitch here, as that's a fly ball, and that is run down and caught by Riley Green in right. And so that's a good 1-2-3 inning there by Cole Irvin as we go to the bottom of the 4th. And here's Chris Taylor, and that's a fly ball. It's hit pretty well in right field, and still backing up right out in front of the wall. He is caught by Michael Brantley. So, I mean, Anthony Santander is actually there in right. Yeah, that's the hardest hit ball that we've seen Kansas City have all game so far today. Brandon Nimmo is going to swing and miss at that pitch. I mean, look at this pitch right here. Just filthy stuff from Madison Bumgarner right now. 6 strikeouts. He has been just almost untouchable in this game so far. So now Yordan Alvarez is up, and he is going to hit a grounder to first base. And that is an easy play for the first baseman. That's not, I mean, that's, oh man, looks like Cooper playing first base. That's probably who that is. There's a swing. That's going to be a ground ball and a base hit up the middle to begin the top of the 5th inning here. Garrett Cooper is on board again with another hit, 2nd of the game. And that is actually going to be the end of the line and the end of the start for Cole Irvin, who, had 5 strikeouts in this game, had some good swing and miss stuff, but overall it just was not consistent. Gave up 7 hits and 4 runs and is responsible for the guy on first base right now. Joe Piams will come out of the bullpen here. Very similar averages against both lefties and righties, a 3.56 ERA for him out of the bullpen this season, as Corey Seager is back up to the plate. An RBI in this game, he's 3 for 6 with a double in this series. And 0-2 to him now is a swing and a sinker driven into left center. Still going back is Alvarez, and it's gone! Corey Seager, 2-run shot, 17th homer of the year, and this lead just keeps growing for LA. It's now 6-0 here in the 5th. I mean, 2nd home run tonight so far, and that was a bomb, 371 on the distance there. Not a cheapie at all for Corey Seager. And this game kind of out of reach almost, it seems. And now Jose Altuve is going to drive this one, and that ball is gone in right center. 7-0. Jose Altuve with his 15th of the year. Seager and Altuve go back-to-back. And it's now a blowout here in Kansas City. And this crowd is pretty much silent now as Jose Altuve, I mean, that was a big swing right there. And 3rd home run of this game by the Dragons. Their offense is really good. 385 on the distance on this one. I like their offense. It's one of the better offenses in the National League, or in the American League, actually. Madison Bumgarner going to get a bad swing and miss right there by Andrew McCutchen. 7th strikeout for him tonight, and he has a really big cushion right now at this point in the game. A cutter there. I mean, looking at that replay, that pitch broke way inside, And again, just no chance for McCutcheon on that. Bollywood Jr. is at the plate here. There's a fly ball, and that one is going to land in center field for a hit. That is the first one of the game for the Kansas City Monarchs tonight.
Second baseman.
I mean, 5.2 no-hit innings for Madison Bumgarner, but it will end there with that swing. And now back to the top of the order. Chris Taylor is going to drive it over the wall in center. Joey Gallo running out of room, and that ball is gone. So Chris Taylor will at least put the Monarchs on the board in this game. 15th home run for him on the season, and it's a 7-2 lead now for Los Angeles. And a good swing there by Chris Taylor, and a ball, I mean, right back up the middle and straight away center field. That was a ball that was crushed. 411 feet on that swing. As there's a fly ball and into center. Joey Gallo will be able to catch this one as that will end the 6th. So Chris Taylor has put Kansas City on the board. It might be a little bit too late here, but they still have a few innings left in this one to try and maybe make a comeback here a little bit. But we go to the bottom of the 8th now, and we quick-sammed some of the top half of these innings, and Los Angeles got 3 more runs. So now it's a 10-2 game, and Madison Bumgarner still pitching excellently here. He gets a 1-2-3 7th and then a 1-2-3 8th inning. And, you know, that was his 80th pitch of the game, I believe. So we'll see now as it's 10-2. And going into the 9th inning, they're going to actually take him out of the game, and they're going to bring on JT Chargois. 40.1 innings for him. We saw his numbers. Really good numbers against lefties, and lefties are not hitting him pretty much at all this season. But, you know, I kind of question that because Madison Bumgarner had only 80 pitches. After 8 innings, he definitely could have pitched this 9th inning, and I think he probably should have. Honestly, just let him finish the day out. You're up by, you're up by 9 right now at this point in the game, so I don't really know why they took him out here. But JT Chargois is going to get a strikeout there to begin this 9th inning. And now he gets Chris Taylor to swing and miss at a slider that was way outside. So pretty bad swing here by Taylor, and JT Chargois, I mean, he's been good this season, and so not a bad relief pitcher to put in here. And he has been excellent in this inning. 2 strikeouts for him. That slider was way off the zone. And that is a swing and a miss. Bollywood Jr. swings through the fastball, and the game is over. So JT Chargois just took care of business there in that 9th inning. He has got a strikeout on the side in the 9th, and that ends the game here. As, I mean, a dominant win for the Dragons. From the 2nd inning onward in this game, just absolutely cooked them, the Monarchs. They just were in control of this one the entire way, pretty much. As you got a couple of home runs, a few home runs in this game. One from Santander, another from Seager, and another big one as well from Jose Altuve as well. But there's the only 2 hits of the whole game for the Monarchs. This offense just did not show up in this one at all. And Madison Bumgarner gets his 9th win of this season so far this year. So they give the game to player. They gave the player of the game to Santander, although he could have definitely given it to Madbum in this one. But yeah, Chris Taylor and Bollywood Jr. the only 2 guys to get a hit in this game today. Taylor 15 home runs and 55 RBIs now for him on the season. As yeah, Kansas City, I think they're good. They're a great team, and this is probably going to be a playoff team. That they're going to be shooting for the #1 seed in the National League in the playoffs here. As Cole Irvin dropped his ERA down to 3.34, gave up 5 runs off of 7 hits and 4.1 innings. He did have 7 strikeouts. But Joe Payamps gave up 2 runs. Tim Bastar really struggled and probably don't need to have him up in the majors anymore. I'm going to consider calling him down again because he's got an over 70 right now. And Los Angeles, I mean, this lineup was just cooking in this game. The only guy that did not get a hit was Bush there. He had 3 strikeouts, or struck out 3 times tonight. But 3 hits for Garrett Cooper, a couple RBIs for him. Corey Seager had 4 RBIs, brings his total up to 52. Santander had 2 home runs in this one in quick manage, and Altuve 2 for 5 with a couple of RBIs as well. Joey Gallo had an RBI, and Santander had 3 hits by Josh Jung and Corey Lee as well. So you look at the pitching. Madison Bumgarner, what a incredible start for him. Just dominant performance. That ERA was at 2.7. Now it's at 2.67. But I mean, 9th win of the season, 8 innings in this one. Only 2 hits, 2 earned runs. It's no walks and 7 strikeouts. And Charles got 1 inning lowered his ERA to 2.61 with 3 strikeouts there. So yeah, pretty dominant win for Los Angeles in that one as we come out of that game, and now we're right at the getting close to the trade deadline here. But before we do that, we kind of got some injury updates and also some roster moves being made by the San Francisco Spiders right now, as Fernando Cisneros has a fractured foot, will be out for probably the rest of the season. And last year he played in 71 games. He was pretty good actually for this team, but this year he has really struggled and has not been hitting the ball very well. And so has Edward Olivares. Only has played in 21 games, but a 179 average, a 220 on base. I mean, he's gotten on base like 16 times or something like that this season. He has been just pretty bad and pretty dreadful. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, pretty small, but still not bad and not good at all. And Colton Cowser, start of the year in the majors this season, was really not hitting well. Has increased his contact or power versus righties by 6 this season, so that's a good increase for him. And he's been hitting pretty well in AAA. He had like a 270 batting average there in AAA, so those numbers are not bad. And I think they're good enough for him to be called back up here and get another chance. And just play out the rest of the season, see if he can improve his offensive numbers at all by any means here. And that is what the lineup is going to look like. We just got to take Edward Olivares out of the lineup right now. He is just playing so poorly at the moment. And so now we are into the trade deadline here, and now the trade deadline officially is going to kick off as we are going to get a trade here between the Gamblers and the Dragons. As the Gamblers, I mean, they're in rebuilding mode right now. They're last in their division right now, and they are going to look to trade Mike Fultonevich here, who has 3 more years of his contract remaining, and he's a very cheap option here, and he's been good this season. He was good last year, 3.32 ERA for him last season, but a 3.84 ERA and 1.38 WHIP for him so far this year in 21 games started. So this is a guy, very cheap contract, and not going to be a superstar ace for you, but a guy that has been good the last couple of years. A guy that should give, a boost to a pitching staff for you if you really need that. I mean, 51 earned runs for him. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys, only 74 strikeouts this year. But the Dragons looking to get some more pitching help, and specifically in the bullpen, as they're also going to go after Caleb Theobar here. 36 years old, a 73 overall. Last year was excellent. Only gave up 9 runs all season. And this year, he has been doing a lot more of the same. Those numbers are very similar, honestly. And in 28 innings, he's given up 7 runs so far. Has only walked 8 guys this year. So he has been pitching really well. And, the Dragons just want some more bullpen help here. And they're also going to be getting Jose Devers in this trade. A guy with decent defense, 23 years old, decent contact ratings, but his discipline is really low. His power is also very low. His clutch is also very low. So, a guy with B potential that could be making Major League appearances soon, but he's not hitting very well in AAA right now. And I still think he's probably a few years away. So, a lower rated prospect there. And in return, the Gamblers are going to get a young catcher, a young relief pitching prospect here in Willie Carrillo. And he does only have C potential, but he's only 20 years old. Has really good ratings right now, 69 walk per 9, 64 hit per 9 there. You see his stats. And he's doing really, really well in AAA right now. Well enough that I think I might improve that potential, but we'll see if I end up doing that. But 86 innings for him this year so far. 73 strikeouts with 3.35 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. And then the other guy in this trade, mainly the main guy that they're going to get in this deal is going to be Nick Gordon, 27 years old, a guy with some Major League experience, but good increases to contact versus lefties and power versus lefties this season. And those hitting ratings are pretty solid. His defense isn't amazing, but his hitting ratings are pretty solid. He's been doing well down there in AAA with a 761 OPS and a 267 batting average with 50 RBIs. So, for the gamblers, they just want to get some more. I mean, these again, this is a smaller trade happening here because Fultonevich and, the other guy that they traded, Theobar, are older players and guys that have, see potential, guys that are not going to get a lot better than where they are right now. So I think that's a pretty good return for the gamblers. You get a bullpen guy that you think will use in the future, and Nick Gordon, who could turn into a decent starter for you. I like where his ratings are, so we'll see if he gets any Major League action this year. But, yeah, Mike Fultonevich now going to join that bullpen as well as Caleb Theobar. So another smaller deal here being made. The Diablos have their outfield right now pretty young, and overall they don't need a lot of more outfield help. They don't really need Willie Calhoun. Right now he's kind of being buried in their depth chart. And Willie Calhoun, not great on defense, but his hitting ratings are really good. +6 to his contact versus righties this year, 85 vision. So I like where his hitting ratings are at a lot. And he didn't play a lot last year for Mexico City. He wasn't very good. But his AAA numbers are incredible. He made the AAA All-Star game. And he had 80 hits, 16 home runs, 50 RBIs, a 299 batting average, and a 914 OPS. So, if he's a guy that can put up those kind of numbers in AAA, he's a guy that can probably put up some decent numbers in the majors, 2.9 WAR for him. So, the Rattlers just wanting a little bit of a boost to their offense right now. They're trying to push to win their division. At the moment, they're in a battle between them and the San Diego Sharks right now at the moment. As they're gonna trade Vinny Bermudez to make this deal possible, who is a guy that they drafted last year in their draft, and really good home run per nine, but a lot of his other stats are very underdeveloped. His K per nine is very low. His hit per nine is also very low. So, not a lot of time in AA for him so far, but I do like. He's got decent potential. He could turn into a decent pitcher in a few years. And then also Johnny Schneider here, a relief pitcher with see potential there. So, again, the Diablos are not getting a lot from that deal, but they honestly don't really need. Vinny Bermudez, maybe he turns into a decent pitcher, or maybe he doesn't. But, for a guy with Willie Calhoun, 28 years old, not a guy that they're going to use, I think that is perfectly fine for them to make that kind of a smaller deal. So Willie Calhoun will step in as this team's DH now. And so another smaller deal here, kind of a one-for-one trade, as the Rattlers are going to get rid of an outfielder here in Brandon Marsh, who has got some decent hitting ratings, +1 and +2 increases for him, mainly this season, 25 years of age. And, 4 games, he's only played 4 games, only has 17 at-bats this season, so, a small sample, can't judge him for that. But now that they added Willie Calhoun, they're going to trade him, one of their outfield guys, and they're going to give him to the Pilots here, and the Pilots in return are going to give away Arnold Edwards. 30 years old, a rookie with some decent ratings, and the guy that has been pretty good in MLB this season as a rookie, as a one reliever for the Pilots, 58.1 innings, a 3.35 ERA, and a 1.25 WHIP with a 0.4 WAR. So, an older rookie, a guy that, again, I don't know how much better he's going to get. He's 30, he does have a potential, but he is also already 30 years old. So, just a kind of a small boost maybe to the bullpen for the Rattlers. And Trevor Lonick, 201 average, a 286 on base. He has just been really terrible this season. So, we're going to see if Brandon Marsh can come over here, a change of scenery. Maybe it could help him out a little bit and see if he can be a competent starting outfielder for this team. So now we're going to go back to the trade board, and this is another one-for-one swap here between the Expos and the Vandals. The Expos, and they're kind of in rebuilding mode more so now. They're not doing very well this season. And Kyle Gibson, it's time for him to be traded here. And, last year he was really, really good at 2.46 ERA. This season, he's not been nearly as good, but still for below 4 ERA. Still a pretty decent season for him so far that he's putting together. Over 100 strikeouts. So they're going to give him away to the Vandals, who need some pitching help right now. And in return, they're going to get Michael McGreevy, who has pretty even ratings across the board. And in AAA, in 46 innings pitched this year, 2.1 or 2.91 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. Not bad numbers from him at all. There's Kyle Gibson. He's going to be taking over as a number 3 starting pitcher in that team's rotation. And now we go to the Chinooks and the Monarchs. We're talking about Matt Chapman, and the Chinooks have been kind of eyeing a trade for Matt Chapman all year. The Chinooks right now in rebuilding mode, and they don't really need Matt Chapman anymore. Last year of his contract, and he's an interesting player. Obviously, the defense for him is incredible. He's one of the better defensive players in baseball. And, his offense has been pretty solid this year. Last year, he's better. He's hitting better than he did last season. The average is still definitely low. The on-base is a little bit low. But 19 home runs, 20 doubles so far. So the power is pretty good for him. The OPS 776 OPS. But, yeah, his defense is also a very good added boost for whoever gets him. And that's really his main drawing point of his game. And in return here, Austin Hendrick will be sent over to the Chinooks, and I like where his ratings are. He's been getting great increases there. You saw some +8s and +9s even to some of those ratings. And he's only played 4 games in AAA, but he was tearing it up in AA. He was doing really well down there in AA. And also, Carson Williams is more of the draw of this trade as well. And he's only 18 years old. He has the potential, but he is really close to being major league ready right now, as his defense is very solid and his hitting ratings are pretty good, +5 to Connor versus lefties right now. And I kind of want some of those hitting ratings to go over the 60s, maybe to be able to have him be called up. But he is a young, infielder there. They're getting an infielder and an outfielder, and a guy that Carson Williams could definitely be using him in the future there, as that trade will go through. And that's the biggest one. The biggest trade that we've seen here in this trade deadline, as you see this wanting this team, as you look at this AA team, this AA farm system isn't terrible, but it's not amazing either. They want to get some more guys to strengthen it here. They have Drew Waters, who is okay as far as prospects go, but is a little bit of an older prospect, and so they're going to get Austin Hendrick and Carson Williams there, as Matt Chapman is going to slide in here as the starting third baseman. So Tommy LaStella is going to be moved back to the bench, who, Tommy LaStella just really wasn't hitting all that well, and he's not an awesome starter, really. So he's more of a bench platoon guy. And Matt Chapman, big addition to that batting order there for Kansas City. That team just got even more scary on offense. So now we have another deal here being made. Miles Michaelis has been traded here, or he is going to be traded, it looks like, as he was traded to the Bees last season, and he was really good. 2.6 ERA is awesome, and this season, he's maybe even been even better. 2.55 ERA, 38 runs is all he's given up, 134 innings. He has been awesome this season. And they're also going to trade Jameson Lamet here, who has, 4.12 ERA, 1.43 WHIP, a guy that, see potential, 78 overall. He's pretty much capped out, and that's, this is about as good as he's going to get. And so maybe a solid number 4 or 5 starting pitcher or a long reliever in his last year of his contract. And in return here, the Firebirds are going to trade away Dennis Beckham, who is a guy that, has pretty bad defense there. So not going to ever start as a defensive catcher, but his hitting ratings are really, really good. 67, 69 Clyde rating, 78 vision, 72 discipline, 76 clutch. Really like his hitting rating, so maybe he could figure in as a DH on this team at some point, maybe. But the main prospect that they are going to get here for the Bees is Joe Perez. 70 overall, first and third baseman. those ratings are really good. I like where those are at, and he's been pretty good in AAA this season. 354 on base percentage, 780 OPS, and a 286 batting average. So, be potential guy here for Miles Michaelis as he will join this Firebirds pitching staff. The Firebirds needing some pitching help and wanting to get to the playoffs with Shohei Ohtani on his last year of his contract, and that is how they're going to do it there by adding a couple of pitchers to their roster as the Bees get a prospect and an interesting catcher to maybe use in the future. So here is another trade, and this one is also pretty big. Here you got Jorge Soler and the Gamblers and the Rhinos making moves here. The Gamblers, again, selling at the deadline, and they're going to trade away one of their better offensive players here. And, the average is not great for him, but he has over 800 OPS. His slugging is very, very good. 13 doubles, 24 home runs, and he had 36 last year. So, he's going to have 30-plus home runs. You're going to take that pretty much all season long. He's really good at that. And, 1.5 more years of his contract left here. And for the Rhinos, they just want to get some more offense and want to improve that area of their team right now. They're in the playoff race right now, and they need some more offense. Luis Matos will also be sent over in this deal. And a guy who's still a couple of years away from the majors, I think, but got a potential, 21 years of age, and so far, his innings are pretty even across the board. And in Double-A, he's been pretty good, 741 OPS. So, a solid Double-A season for him so far, as he will be traded for Joshua Baez. So Joshua Baez is being sent over to the Gamblers, and he's 19 years old. Beat potential, got amazing defense, 86 arm strength right there, but 62 contact versus lefties, 60 power versus lefties, 56 and 53 in the contact and power ratings against righties, respectively. But he's been doing awesome in AAA this season so far. I mean, those are some great numbers. 282 batting average, 354 on base, 831 OPS, 13 homers, and 54 RBIs. So Joshua Baez, I really, really like him as a prospect, and the Gamblers here are going to get a good outfield prospect on their team. And, I think you could argue that it might not be the Rhinos might be benefiting more because they're getting a starting caliber guy in Soler, and they're getting a prospect out of this deal in Luis Matos. But, they might not have Soler for that long unless they extend him next year. They might only have Soler for a year and a half. And, this is basically kind of boils down to a trade or a prospect swap with the addition of Jorge Soler here for a bit of extra offensive production for Las Vegas. But Las Vegas trying to improve their farm system right now, and I think they did that here at the deadline. That was their big goal at the trade deadline, and they added some players at this deadline, including obviously now Joshua Baez to that prospect pool, and getting rid of some other guys as well. So I like what Las Vegas has kind of done in this trade deadline here to just get rid of some of their guys, some of their more bigger name expiring contract guys, and Jorge Soler. 79 overall. I think he's going to help this offense a lot, and going to help this team try to get to the playoffs and a playoff push for them. So the Honey Badgers here in a swap, just a couple, just a straight up swap for these players here. Jalen Miller. I mean, the Honey Badgers really need a closing pitcher right now. They don't have a great one at the moment. I think their bullpen is the weakest part of their team, and so they're sending Jalen Miller over to the Vipers here. And Jalen Miller played a little bit in the majors last year for New York. He wasn't very good, but he's got some good hitting ratings there. 64 contact versus lefties, some decent increases there. His defense is pretty good as well. But he's only 26 years old, and he's been hitting pretty well in AAA so far. 715 OPS there for him, 255 batting average. And they are sending over their star closer here in Andrew Kittredge, who's 33 years old and, 1.5 more years on his deal and on his contract that he has left. And this season, he has been very good. Maybe not as good as last year, but in some respects, even better. Actually, the whip is at an even better spot. Only has walked 4 guys in 24 or 34 innings. He's only allowed 28 base runners total this year, and has only allowed 10 runs all season. So he's going to slot in there. Son Doolittle will be this team's setup man now. But, this team needed a closer really badly. Needed a boost in the pitching department and the bullpen department. And we'll see what happens with that. Well, we'll see what happens with Jalen Miller. Hopefully he can kind of restart his career here a little bit in Tampa Bay. And the Vipers trying to get some, trying to add some more younger talent here. And O'Neill Cruz, by the way, I just called him down to AAA because he had been hitting below 200 this year. I know O'Neill Cruz just made the All-Star game and just went into the home run derby yesterday at the time of this recording. But in this franchise, he was bad last year, and he has been very bad this season. 188 batting average, 259 on base percentage, 31 hits. 68 hits is always had, and 361 plate appearances, a 572 OPS. So those are just not playable. I cannot start O'Neill Cruz with those type of numbers. That's just terrible numbers for him there. So he's going to be called down, and hopefully he can improve his ratings, come back up, and be a lot better in the future. Now we have a big trade here between the Bees and the Raptors. And the Bees, 10 games below 500 right now at this point in the season, and I don't think that they're going to be able to, make a run. I think, they also just don't have a farm system at all. They have no top 50 prospects. And so they're going to be kind of selling here. They already traded Michaelos, and now they're going to trade their best, one of the better offensive players here, in Teoscar Hernandez, who has a 900 OPS right now, a 541 slugging percentage, and a great, 2.3 WAR. This is one of his better seasons of his career right now. Teoscar Hernandez is crushing it in the majors. And so he's going to go and go to the Raptors here, where the Raptors trying to fight for the playoffs right now. They are wanting to have a better second half of their season, and they're going to give away Ryan Rollison, 25 years old, but good rating, 64, and K-Pride 61 hit per 9. Like some of his pitching ratings there. And then Vito Brujan, +7 at Carter versus lefties this season, 56 and 64 contact rating, 60 vision. His defense is pretty decent. So I also like his position flexibility. He can play pretty much everywhere besides first base and catcher. And he's been good in AAA so far in this season. 5 home runs, 35 RBIs, 279 batting average, 350 on base. So Vito Brujan here, 25 years old. A little bit of an older prospect, but still a guy that can start pretty much right away for the Bees here as they look to improve their farm system. But yeah, the Raptors kind of needed this. They needed some more offense, I think, to be able to just help their team out. And Teoscar Hernandez is a big addition for them. As Vito Brujan, I'm going to call him back down to AAA. But again, a guy that, given some more time in AAA, will probably be making a September call-up. And will probably be making a big impact for this team. And hopefully he's like a future centerpiece of their team going forward. And Teoscar Hernandez is like the first thing that the Raptors did with him is they are offering him a contract extension. So they just gave him a 3-year extension now. And there's a look at this offense now with him in it as he's the number 4 hitter. And yeah, that offense looks a lot better. That batting order is pretty dangerous in my opinion there, as I like what he looks like in Raptors uniform. So we got some more trades that happened that I did kind of off screen here that we look in the trade finder, and these are some more smaller deals that were made here at the trade deadline. But as you see there, the Blue Sox getting Ryan Bliss from the Scorpions for Matthew Boyd and Travis Swaggerty, as the Scorpions getting a pitcher and an outfielder that could be a prospect in the future. And then Corey Kluber traded from the Vandals, or traded from the Jazz actually to the Vandals. And then Wade Miley traded from the Vipers to the Rattlers. The Rattlers trying to improve their team a little bit more and get another pitcher to help them out. And the Spiders getting Lloyd Traveras for Brandon Belt and trading their first baseman and then another relief pitcher as well. And one more trade that we had here, the Wizards trying to improve their farm system. They got George Kirby and Jimmy Forbes from the Reapers for Dakota Hudson and Michael Bowman. So let's take a look at some of these players that we saw being traded in these deals. Corey Kluber, traded to the Vandals here. And 36 years old, a guy not really in his starting days anymore. He's been in the bullpen for most of the entirety of the season for New Orleans. And after a really bad season with Winnipeg last year, this season has been a vast improvement for him. And overall, a pretty good season, all things considered. 1.06 ERA for him, 43 walks, a 3.69 ERA there. And so in 139 innings, Corey Kluber has been very serviceable and should be a very, a decent long relief pitcher for the Vandals. In the Vandals, trading away Justin McCoy here as he's 59, 56, and 45, 52 per 9. His per 9s look pretty decent there. 22 years old, big potential player. And so he will join that squad in New Orleans there, a pitching prospect for them to develop. And then Matthew Boyd traded here, and not any decreases in any of his stats this season so far. He's a pretty well-rounded pitcher, all things considered here, but traded from the Chicago Blue Sox, and I thought I almost did this trade last year with Matthew Boyd, but we decided to pull the trigger this season. He has been putting up a very similar season and overall pretty decent numbers here, and 103 strikeouts in 120 innings, 453 runs allowed, a 3.72 ERA. So maybe a little bit worse, but not by too much there. And for a team of the Scorpions who want to get some more pitching on their roster so that they can make the playoffs here and they go for a playoff push, I think that is a good pitcher for them to get. And then they also got Travis Swaggerty in this deal, 25 years old, and +5 and +8 to his contact ratings. So he's been hitting the ball pretty well in AAA this season. But again, he's only 25 years old. He's an older prospect. Don't know how great he's going to be in the majors. But for Chicago, trying to improve their farm system a little bit more here, they get Ryan Bliss from this deal. And I know Ryan Bliss has been playing in the majors in real life, but good defense for Ryan Bliss and good vision and good contact ratings. And, his AAA stats haven't been incredible this season, but, 23 years old, a 73 overall guy. I like where his ratings are at, and I think he could be a future solid infielder for the Chicago Blue Sox. And now the Vandals, they weren't done with that Corey Kluber move. They make a move for offensive players now, and specifically Brandon Belt, who has been putting up a good season here and was putting up good numbers in San Francisco. 778 OPS for him this season so far. 16 home runs, already more than last year for him, and a 347 on base percentage. So 1.5 more years of his contract left there. Hopefully he will provide a little bit of a boost to this offense. And then they also got Pablo Sanchez in this deal, who is a 25-year-old, 62 overall weak potential relief pitcher. Don't know if we'll see him in the majors really anytime soon, but he has some potential for sure. And he's been pitching very well in Double-A this season in 31 innings. There, 1.06 WHIP and 2.61 ERA. And in return, the Spiders get Leody Taveras, 24 years old, amazing, incredible arm strength there, really good fielding as well, and +5 to his contact versus lefties, good discipline. So he has some definitely standout hitting attributes there. And so I like him now back on that lineup there, and a younger guy to develop for sure. So now they move on. Wade Miley here, acquired from the Vipers, and last year he was with San Diego, and he was really good in his 33 starts that year with 3.04 ERA, and this season he has been putting up very similar numbers, and he has been very good again at 36 years old. He has just been, the old man years are not catching up with him right now. He's been pitching at a very good level, 10 quality starts for him this season, a 1.2 whip, or 1.2 WAR, excuse me. So they will acquire him, and in return, the Vipers get Luis Toribio, 22 overall, or 22 years of age, 62 overall guy, 63 client versus lefties, and his hitting ratings are, some of them are slightly underdeveloped there, but he's a guy that we could see develop and maybe make an impact there. 36 years. I mean, what are you going to really expect to get from a 36-year-old starting pitcher there? That's about the best that you can get right there. And the Reapers here making a move. They get Dakota Hudson from Winnipeg, who has been putting up good numbers, a 3.33 ERA for him, a 1.25 WHIP, and 132 innings. So yeah, those are solid numbers. 13 quality starts is a lot there. He also has a shutout. So this team just needs some pitching help right now. They're maybe trying to push for the playoffs after winning the World Series last year. They're about a 500 team right now at the moment. And they trade George Kirby, 25 years of age there, and 69 overall. And he was pitching for Houston a little bit this season, but he was really struggling in the majors. Had an over 5 ERA, and he will be in AAA, or he might actually be starting for this team going forward this year. I'm not sure. And they also get Jimmy Forbes, who was a draft pick from last year, and he's got some decent ratings here, 50 power. Those ratings are not too bad, but his vision discipline very low there. His contact versus lefties and righties is also pretty low. His fielding is also very low, but he is young and he does have some potential. So maybe he could turn into a decent player at some point in this series. So that is going to be it, guys. That is the trade deadline, and that is all the moves that we made. Some big ones there. The biggest probably being the biggest moves there probably made Teoscar Hernandez and Matt Chapman being traded. But that is going to do it for me in this episode, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Again, great to be back recording videos for you guys. And we will be back with regular uploads here a couple times a week. I will be home for about a week, about a week now. And then I'll be moving to Tennessee. And I will be there for, I don't know how long, but however long the Lord wants me to be there. So maybe at least like a couple of years. So we'll see. I mean, I'm done with college now, so definitely moving on to the next stage of life. I don't know what it all will look like because I don't have a job or anything lined up in Knoxville yet. So I don't know what the schedule will be for me. I don't know how much time I'll have to really do this, but I want to keep making videos of this series and expect there to be a few more to come out before I move and everything. But just thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for everybody that still stuck around on this channel despite me being away for a month and not recording anything. I definitely appreciate that support. And remember, if you like this video and you want to see more from me, do subscribe to the channel here. It is very much appreciated. Like the video if you also have liked it. That'll help me out a lot. And I definitely just appreciate everybody that watches these. I know it's not a lot, but still like to do this. And glad to be back and behind the microphone to be doing these videos for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see all of you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. We will see some debuts of these players that just were traded next time as we begin August in this franchise. And I will see you in that video when the time comes. We're having a great day, everybody, and God bless.